Hey everyone, Tanner Bell here and welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn YouTube channel. I'm so excited to have you here today because we're going to teach you 5 etching mistakes and exactly how to avoid them in this video. But before we do, let me share with you, if you have not went ahead and subscribed to our YouTube channel, go down there, hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on for more amazing videos and live streams. Also, check out our membership, Maker's Gonna Learn, right down below. It's the first link. We have access to thousands of cut files, hundreds of fonts, tons of free courses, and so much more. If you have a die cutting machine, I know you will enjoy it. Let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. Today we have 5 examples on the table. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over what went wrong and we're going to break down exactly how to avoid them in each project. If you're wondering exactly how to etch in general, we have some other great trainings on how to etch glass and whatnot, especially using your Cricut machine. But in today's video, this is probably for someone that's been etching for a while and they're still not getting the perfect results. If that's you, stay tuned for this video. Let's go ahead and jump into our first example. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and jump into our first example today. This one right here is what happens if you don't wash off your etching cream before removing the stencil. This is something I hear happen time and time again. And let me explain to you what's going to happen before we actually do it. So if we have all of this extra etching cream on here and we have not went ahead and washed it off prior to removing the stencil, what's going to happen is all of these little clumps and whatnot, after we remove the stencil, as we wash it off, it's actually going to etch the rest of the glass and you're not going to get crisp results. So what we always recommend is for you to put your stencil down and then tape around your glass with extra painter's tape, masking tape. You could use transfer tape, you could do excess vinyl, whatever you need to use to protect this glass. Because in theory, when etching, what you would be able to do is now run this under water, remove any of the excess etching cream, and then, my friend, after you've damply or like simply dried it a little, then you would be able to remove the stencil. So as you see here, what's going to happen when we start removing this right here, as we start peeling this up, what you're going to start noticing is that it's going to be really hard for this to keep the nice edges that the stencil provides. So again, imagine me also trying to remove this stencil with a weeding tool in the midst of all of this etching cream. My beautiful, crisp, clean lines, after I go ahead and clean this off under running water, they're going to disappear, and that's going to be very unfortunate. Because again, as you can already see, I'm getting etching cream onto other parts of the glass that just isn't necessary. So I always want to encourage you guys to not only tape the excess parts of your glass, but also be sure to clean this off before removing the stencil. All right, my friends, for example number 2, let's talk about these particular types of wine glasses. Notice that it is obviously round, but you're also seeing that it's round at the bottom. These type of wine glasses right here are very, very round, and that's going to cause you to have a little bit harder time being able to apply a stencil like this. So obviously this is a very large stencil. So when working with any type of cup or wine glass like this, you can already tell that your stencil is definitely going to have some trouble sticking. So what we recommend is smaller decals and maybe even longer. So you would want a shorter and longer decal to have really great results with this. But we also just kind of recommend to stay away from extra round items like that, but maybe stick with glasses like this that, yes, it's round, but you're not going to struggle with that anywhere else on the glass. So let me share with you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so I've picked up my stencil with a piece of transfer tape, and as you can see, when I'm ready to apply it down onto my round glass, traditionally I do the taco method and lay it flat onto the glass. But as you can see here, when I start flattening it out, you're going to start running into some issues. You're starting to see your vinyl is going to crinkle. You're starting to not get amazing results, my friends. And what we want you to do is always have amazing, amazing results. Because let me tell you, this right here is a craft fail waiting to happen. So there's a few things you can do at this step. Now, obviously etching, we recommend trying to have bolder, thicker fonts. We want to have really amazing lines and coverage. And when something like this happens, you're not going to get that, my friend. So we, again, just want you to be very strategic when you are working with a glass object like this right here. All right, so be careful with it. We can even try to see what it would look like if I remove the transfer tape. As you can see, it is definitely a struggle bus. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. We're not even gonna have anywhere close to a great result with this project. So you definitely want to be careful with it. If your image is just a little bit larger and it's wanting to crinkle a little, I want you to follow my tip and trick for applying vinyl onto a glass ornament. I have a great video or two explaining my process, but essentially what you would do is take your stencil and you would cut off as much excess as possible, and you're going to cut slits in your stencil. And that's going to help apply the vinyl down easier and have better results when applying onto any round object. But this one right here, my friend, is just simply too large. So if you're running into this type of situation, size down your decal, consider using different glasses and things like that. Do not etch vinyl that is looking like this, because you can see there's many different flaws in this, and you're not going to get great results even if you have amazing, amazing etching, due to your stencil is not perfect. So just be careful and wary of that. For example, number 3, let's talk about some finished results. I see pictures like this posted in our Facebook group time and time again, asking Tanner, what went wrong? Where did I go wrong? My etching seems to feel good, look good, but look at all these excess pieces of etching that I did not want to happen, my friend. And that is where I want to reassure you, please pull out masking tape, pull out transfer paper, pull out scrap pieces of vinyl. And after you apply that stencil down, be sure to tape any exposed area of your glass. Because what's going to happen is when you're cleaning it off after letting it set under your running water, that etching cream is moving around to these other pieces of the glass, and it's not going to give you great flawless result. And that is what we're after today, my friend. So please be careful about that. You want to make sure to have no thin borders that could cause you any of these, little additional pieces that is not going to make this look store-bought. We are after a store-bought look here, and that is what you need to achieve that. All right, my friends, this example is something I just want to remind you when you're designing. This is more of a design space pre-cutting example, and this is just to make sure that you make your font larger than you think. Because when you're etching, you do not want to have any tiny fonts. This is very hard to read, and remember, etching is not supposed to be super noticeable. So when you put those two together, you need to have bold fonts and you need to have large fonts. I recommend thicker fonts, always are going to work better when etching. I recommend trying to do less is more. A more minimal look when etching is actually go get you a more professional look. That's why you see people just using someone's last name or last initial or monogram. That is because you can get a thicker, bolder font, better look, and it's going to look more professional. So again, let's make sure we stay away from super tiny fonts, because people are going to be looking at your glass and be like, what is that? And you're not really going to see the best result. Now again, also when you are stenciling and etching, you can see that you may not get the best result with these tiny fonts either, because the vinyl is not able to stay stuck down as well when washing off that etching cream. So that is another reason that we recommend those thicker, bolder fonts. All right, guys, for number 5, let's talk about the friend who probably needs to go back and take a stenciling class, because this right here is what's going to happen is if you forget to put down the stencil and you put down the traditional vinyl and end up etching literally your entire glass. And as you can see here, if you end up etching your entire glass, you're not going to get amazing etching results because you're not prepared to let it sit on the entire glass. So be sure when you are cutting out your design that you weed this piece, that you weed out the specific inner letters and you leave the outer piece to be able to be applied down. Remember, you do not want to put down your heart, decals. You want to put down the entire stencil. So be sure to not etch the entire glass when you are etching either. You want to make sure to have an amazing stencil that you can apply down with no bubbles. You're going to apply down extra masking tape or transfer tape or painter's tape when you are etching so that no extra glass is exposed, so that you're not getting any looks like this today. We want you to have amazing store-bought results when using etching cream and your Cricut. And today, my friends, when you're able to use these 5 different examples to make sure you do not experience this in your own etching, you're going to have those amazing store-bought results. And you're not going to have any of these craft fails like we did. My friends, what did you think of these 5 etching fails and how exactly to avoid them? Have you ever been through one of these? Let me tell you, I have personally experienced multiple of these design fails when etching. It is so easy to forget to tape off all the excess tape. It's always so easy to forget to make sure the design is big enough, is bold enough. And those tips right there are going to help you have amazing results time and time again. Now, my friends, there are so many more videos that you can watch from us to learn more about etching. It's something that we have done live training on where you can watch a live stream. There's also other amazing etching videos where you can get some amazing trainings on the physical etching process. So I want to encourage you, go over, check those out, and be sure to give the video a thumbs up. If you learned anything today, be sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos. And again, check out our membership where you're going to get access to thousands of amazing cut files, hundreds of fonts, access to our amazing member-only community, member-only videos, amazing projects, and so much more. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you back here in the next video. Bye now.